Greetings, fellow thinkers and drinkers and Black Sabbath fans. Those familiar with my previous videos on Black Sabbath will be well aware of my less than positive opinion on their habit of re-releasing their existing material periodically, anything between 5 and 10 years, or 15 years even, in a remastered version with no apparent extra material or extra value. Some of these featured in box sets, some of them as standalone releases. Again, all the videos are there. Hit the Black Sabbath playlist there. Hit the Black Sabbath playlist, and you can hear out their multitude of shortcomings. I speculated when, at the end of the last video I did on such matters, that if another remaster or something of that nature came out, it was likely to be Born Again. How wrong I was. Now, apparently, this had already been building up the suspense here. This upcoming release had already been announced in February. Just that I'd completely missed it. I just stumbled upon it when inadvertently going to the Blabbermouth website. It's the Eternal Idol. Yes, all right. It's the Eternal Idol. So now we know. It's going to be released on the 25th of July. Any significance in that timing? I have no idea. After this farewell concert, back to the beginning concert, obviously, is there any significance in that? Again, I have no idea. This was obviously the first of the Tony Martin albums, although, as I discussed the Tony Martin box set, I did mark its lack of inclusion, but that was quite obviously down to the fact that the rest of the Tony Martin era stuff was on IRS records, whereas this marked the last band release on Warner Brothers Vertigo. So that was the obvious reason for its lack of inclusion in the Tony Martin box set. Now, this was released in 1987. I bought the original vinyl. I bought the Castle remaster when it came out in 96. There was another remaster in 2004, which I did not buy. Then in 2010, there was yet another remaster, but this did have some additional material. Firstly, it was a double disc set. The second disc being the 8 actual songs, excluding the Scarlet Pimpernel instrumental, from the Eternal Idol, but with the original vocals as laid down by Ray Gillen, who, as we know, left the band and Tony Martin was parachuted in at the 11th hour. And largely, I think, to common consent, given he had a week or something to do it, he effectively copied what Gillen had done in terms of phrasing and vocals, all that sort of thing. He had no creative input into it. But that album comprised the second disc of the 2-disc set, which was interesting. It had been doing the rounds in bootleg circles for years now. But, okay, an official release of that is perfectly legitimate. They cleaned up the sound as best they could. Some of the songs are missing guitar solos. It's not. Yes, it's a professional sounding mix, but it doesn't have that finished, album feel to it. In addition to that, the album itself was supplemented by a couple of bonus tracks. One being Black Moon, which was the B-side of the Shining single back at the time. Now that became subsequently better known when it was re-recorded, slightly rearranged, and re-recorded on Headless Cross, where it's known as. So yes, this was not a hybrid version, but a prototype version, although the differences are not huge. And a second song, Some Kind of Woman, which is possibly the fastest thing they've ever put onto the record. Not particularly good. It doesn't sound particularly Sabbathy. As I said, it has an unfinished feel to it, and that's probably down to the fact that it is unfinished. But it is. It was recorded around this time. It's all right. It's an interesting curiosity. There's not, it's perfectly legitimate for it to be included in this release. But this, you would have thought, was the last word on the Eternal Idol because, again, as I've said when I've been discussing all these remasters, remixes, re-releases, everything, if they're not going to release any unreleased material, again, being through all that, the reasons for that, then there is nothing else to offer here, okay? Unless they were going to include a live concert from the, albeit brief, Eternal Idol tour. So one would have assumed that the 2000 remaster of the Eternal Idol, as I said, should have been the last word. Well, as they say, assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups. Why they've chose to apart from the obvious reason, is to coax more money out of us, I can see no justification for this, for many reasons, but let's start with the obvious. It's a single disc release. It only has the original album, plus Black Moon and Strange Kind of Woman, neither of which are now anything approaching rarities. It has been remastered again, but from what, I do not know. Will this sound any better? I very much doubt it. Now, I'm prejudging it. I'm aware of that. I am prejudging it. But based on past experience, and again, check out my other video, this is going to be a non-event in terms of when you listen to it. I don't think we're going to be falling to our knees and holding our hands up to the heavens and say, oh, this is the release we've been waiting for years. I doubt that's going to happen. On the contrary, I think most of them will probably say, I can't tell the fucking difference. Doubtless it will come with a booklet containing words of prose that Oscar Wilde himself would have been proud of, telling us nothing new, repeating the same old story that we've heard since the album was being released. I'm sure there'll be a photograph or two in there. If you're lucky, there might be one or two we haven't seen before. But let's not get our hopes up. I'm hoping I'm slightly wrong here. I'm hoping that there will be an improvement in audio quality here. As I said, when comparing the Headless Cross and Tear remasters, there was an obvious improvement in quality, but the comparison was to the original 1989-1990 pressing. There was nothing in between. This would be compared to 2 or 3, perhaps even more, I maybe lost count, remasters that have come out since the original pressing in 1987. Therefore, the chances of it being a revelatory audio experience are much diminished. Again, this has not been touted as part of their deluxe box set releases. It seems to be an independent of that. Although who exactly is behind it, I'm afraid I have no idea, as I really don't know who owns the rights to this. It's all a bit of a mess. But there's been no indication of anything like a remix being done. It's just coming out, as a normal CD release, so not even the infamous folded poster. So why? Well, there can be only one reason. It's purely financial. On the face of it, on the information one has, there is no artistic justification for releasing this. It offers absolutely nothing on the face of it. So I'm putting this out there, and come July, end of July, some other bugger will buy it and review it. And I'll watch his video, or her video, and I'll smile smugly to myself, having once again had my prejudices even, confirmed, or alternatively, admit I'm wrong, and buy it. and I'll come back with another video at the time and smile smugly, having been right, or admit I was wrong. We will have to see. However, I thought we'd seen the last of this. I am so naive. If there are still plans for, because there is still stuff out there that has not been done. There's half of the Osborne-era has not been done. When I say done, you know what I'm talking about. I have this ridiculous remaster, re-release. See if we can charge over €100 for this thing done. Now, I discussed in the video the reasons why that might be the case, and I also discussed how it could be made interesting. But that was just more for mine and hopefully your amusement than with any realistic expectation that the powers that be would pay any notice to that. Which leaves us still with Born Again, which is basically where I started this. I thought the next thing that would have been out the gate would have been the Born Again remix, because there is at least, an established demand for that. There's been an established demand for that since the day the fucking thing was released in 1983. And since Iommi has, and it's got to be 4 or 5 years ago now, he did actually get the original master tapes in his hand. So there's nothing technically stopping him from doing it. And I presume I'm not on my own on this, assumed that would be the next remaster. I'm sorry, remix. We don't need another fucking remaster. Again, how wrong can one be? This did, even given the powers that be at Sabbath HQ, their avaricious tendencies, this is still a bit of a shock. I would say surprise, but surprise has at least the potential for pleasantness. This has been a shock. Again, I'm prejudging it, I know, and I may come to eat my words. But this just, yes, I'm sorry, it's one of those things that's borderline offensive. Being asked to fork out yet again for something that is, for all intents and purposes, identical to the thing that's been released 3 or 4 times already. I guess this is just the reality of today's music world. We shall see. Anybody else, any ideas? Thoughts? Comments? You know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Is there anything else? No, that's enough to be getting on with. Yeah. And, well, that's it. I will be back. This is sort of a one-off video. I will be back with whatever it is I'm currently doing. I do forget myself. And until next time, I thank you for your indulgence. I'd love to hear your opinion on this, but until then, Mashongia.